Good afternoon and welcome to my house. My name is Lyn Rein and I am so excited to be here today and participate in the first Giants Yule calendar. My family first became involved with Giants because my daughter attended their summer camp. When I heard things were virtual this year, I knew I had to help out and spread the joy and teach about the customs of Yuletide. So today we'll be Rosemaled an ornament. Here are some examples of my Rosemaled. In the Yule Paka, there's step-by-step instructions to go over what you'll need to do the ornament. If you don't have that, go to giantsoftheearth.org for a pattern and instructions. Let's start by preparing our background. I'm using an acrylic paint and a sponge brush to go over a piece of cardboard several times. You'll do the front and the back to keep it from curling. You'll want to let that dry fully and set it aside. Here's the pattern that came in your package. Since I'm going to go over a light background today, I've decided to use graphite for a transfer medium. This will help you transfer the pattern onto the ornament paper. Simply trace around all the lines that were provided, including the scrolls, the lettering, and go around the outside, and you'll cut around the outside before we start painting. Now I grew up surrounded with Rosemaled because my grandmother and my mom both do it. I started really taking classes in the 1990s and love how it brought my family together. This is especially true around Christmas when we decorate our tree with hand-painted ornaments. My mom and I especially like taking classes together and also exhibiting at Vesterheim and at the Wisconsin Rosemaled Association. Now we're ready to begin. I've cut it out already. Let's begin with a 3/8 inch filbert brush. Now I have my paints on a plate with a wet paper towel on it, and I'm using that to keep the paints moist while I work with them. And I'm mixing a green and a brown together and tip it into a yellow. What this does is it puts a lot of different colors through each stroke, and you only have to do the one stroke. The first stroke is a C stroke, which is pretty much the foundation of Rosemaled. You start really slow with a lot of pressure, which makes the end of the stroke very wide. And then as you pull it towards you, you lighten up on the pressure. That one has a little bit of a flat spot. Let's do that over quick. So you're going to mix your brown and your green and then tip it into the ochre, and it's heavy pressure. Lighten, 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 lighten as you go. That looks great. Let's move to a flat brush. It's a slightly smaller brush. I just want to show that this stroke can be done with multiple different brushes. So mix it again, add the yellow again, and then we're going to pick a spot about halfway down and do a little bit smaller version of the C stroke. And we're just going to sit them in right beside each other. Next, we'll move on to some red line work. We're going to do some teardrops. first, and we're going to start at the tip of the teardrop with a very light pressure, and then we're going to end it with a heavier pressure, and we'll widen out the bristles with our pressure. We'll put 2 teardrops in between each of the scrolls, the big ones and the little ones. I just wanted to mention that the guitar playing in the background is my darling husband. Next, we're going to move on to some dots. I've made a dot machine, I guess you'd call it, with a chopstick that I put in a pencil sharpener. And then I made one of the ends more dull by using some sandpaper. We're going to do every other one. And we'll just do as many dots as we can before we run out of paint. I think the dots add quite a bit of interest. And it's good to do them, oops, need a little bit more paint. It's good to do them in a color that really pops, like a red. Now let's do a few more lines going around the outside with some red, to kind of give it a frame and to clean up our initial lines. So we're just going to do some long C strokes. So pressure at the beginning and just go as long as you can go. We'll do one for each of the big C strokes. Like I said, this will just add a little bit of frame and a little bit of interest. When we're done, you can take out any remaining graphite lines that you're seeing, just with an eraser or just water. Now we're ready to do our line work. And just trace with the same little brush. Of course, don't forget the upcoming virtual Juletre Fest on December 23rd, and make sure to check out the Giants gift shop in person or online for fabulous holiday gift giving ideas, including locally made creations. Also, did you know that we'd like to see your Yule calendar creations? Please like us on Facebook and share your Yuletide stories and photos on our Facebook page. Line work is always very fun, and it's good to add some interest by making part of each line thick and part of each line thin. I thank you for joining Giants of the Earth Heritage Society this afternoon. Hat de bra au goût Jule. Lastly, I've added a string and added it to my tree. Merry Christmas!